Welcome to episode 2 of the Finding HAViK podcast. Today we have Mel on. She's a really close friend of HAViK.
Yeah, and actually Mel is going to be one of our co-hosts on the show, so you'll get to see her in later episodes as well.
And a big reason for that is that she's done a ton of different things in her life, from downhill skiing to game warden and a lot of other things that we get into.
Yeah, and basically we're going to go over her 9 lives of all the stuff she's done and how crazy it is.
It's a really interesting podcast, and I hope you enjoy.
Let's get into it.
They lost the tools, they lost the way. Now they're calling for help every damn day. While some still sharpen steel and mind, step out of the flock. This is Finding HAViK.
Thanks for coming and hanging out.
Anytime.
Yeah, so you're kind of a special guest for this one, podcast guest number 2, but you're also going to be a co-host for this show. And there's a lot of reasons why that's becoming that way, right? For one, is that you've done a lot of random shit in your life. And I think that with the brand of HAViK and what we're trying to show is just having that resilience to have the skills to separate yourself from other people. You definitely have a lot of those. And just like to touch on it, right? Like just briefly, like you're obviously you were rodeo queen, right?
Yes, for Reno.
You were a downhill skier. You were a game warden.
Yep.
And there's a lot more stuff we'll talk about, I guess, right? So the easiest way, though, is let's just go back a little bit to the very beginning. And, I guess is horses, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of where you want to start. What was like the earliest memories of horses? Like why were you so kind of infatuated with those animals?
Yeah, I grew up in South Reno and down kind of towards Steamboat Valley, north of Pleasant Valley. And there's not a lot of kids out there when I was growing up. And about like a quarter of the houses that are out there now.
Yeah.
Those were the days, right?
Yeah.
And so I spent a lot of my time in the summer when I was out there by myself. Parents would go to work, right? I would be at home, have to do my chores, and then go ride my horse. And all I had to do, this was pre-cell phone days.
Yeah.
All I had to do was call when I got back.
Yeah.
So they didn't know when I left. I'd go saddle my horse and just ride.
Yeah, be back before dark or when it's dark.
I had to like beat them home, but that was easy to do, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because I guess with me, like grew up in the sticks too, right?
Mm-hmm.
I had my brother.
Yeah.
But for the most part and stuff, we'd go fishing. I'm not a horse person. I'm one of those people that whenever I'm on them, I am uncomfortable and they know that I'm uncomfortable, which makes them uncomfortable. Every single horse I've ever been on, I think I've gotten bucked off. It's just
You were on the wrong horse.
yeah. There was this one horse that was at like this wedding and I was young and it was called No Go Snow, but it was married to like another horse.
Oh.
And that guy
Walked
left.
away. Yep.
And my horse freaked out. And my dad, still to this day, actually, it's like one of the best grabs. We talk about it all the time. Is he like got me by the coat as I was getting bucked off, and he like pulled me onto his horse. And I think my brother was already on that horse with him. It was a whole mess. I was pretty young on that one, but it's
Yeah.
I just don't. Yeah, the horses and me. I'd like to, but I don't know.
I mean, they're prey animals. Like,
Sure.
We're like, hey, bend to our will.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and it's more of like they're an animal at the end of the day, and I always have that in the back of my head of being like, this thing can do whatever it wants.
Yeah.
In the second it wants to do the thing, I'm not in control anymore, and I don't like not being in control. So
Yeah, it's building that trust though, to where they realize that you're not going to put them in a bad situation.
sure. But yeah, so it's doing it so early though for you,
Yes.
though, right? Builds that, I guess, that relationship where you trust them, they trust you, which
Absolutely.
I never did, right? I don't think my mom had horses and stuff. She like grew up with them and stuff. I didn't particularly ever get on the horses, so I just never had that relationship with them.
It's easier too, because when you're younger, you bounce. If you do
fair.
when you fall off, a lot of times, most of the time, people say I got bucked off. They didn't get bucked off. They fell off. Right?
Yeah, I mean, that might be all of my cases, I guess, in a weird way. Like if I had more skill or something, like they freaked out and I fell off.
And you're like, I'm out. You probably just let go.
I might have.
Yeah.
The No Go Snow one though, that one was like rared up.
He came up, yeah.
And I got pulled off my horse on that. I actually never hit the ground on that one, but
Yeah. So a lot of I just kind of rode around up to, used to ride up Toll Road to Virginia Highlands, up to Jumbo Grade and to Virginia City.
That's a great, like, I guess, like, listening to those podcasts, if you don't know the area, how old were you?
Probably 12. Sixth grade. Yeah.
I mean, at 12, I mean, you have to know the area, but that's no joke distance wise.
Yeah.
And also like terrain wise, like that, you're literally popping up and over like a mountain that gets shut down with snow and stuff sometimes.
I've since told my dad that I don't think he realized how good a shape that horse was in, because I didn't realize as a kid. Luckily, he was fine. We'd stop by. I knew where the springs were. We'd get water, that sort of thing. I didn't know that on a daily basis what we were riding, but he was in excellent shape.
Yeah, he was.
My dad never knew.
I mean, I guess you were young enough to not weigh, at 12, you're not weighing too much, right? So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's easy to not, at that age, you don't know the risks that you're putting on the animal.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, he was, like I said, he was fine. We'd stop, he'd eat some grass.
Did you like slowly venture out, or did you just like all of a sudden you're like, I'm gonna go to Virginia City one day, and you just like went up and over the
No,
mountain?
it was definitely slowly. It was for sure. I've had this curiosity my whole life. And this was later when I was a game warden. What made me pretty good at my job was I want to know what is around the next corner.
Yeah.
What's over there? And this is before Google Maps. We had a computer with dial up. It's not like you could just go get on your Onyx and see where the springs were. Yeah, maybe MapQuest, maybe.
I mean, that was probably before MapQuest, theoretically.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And so
I don't think I got even internet at the house until.
It was definitely curiosity where I was like, what's up this canyon? Is there, or I'd see some trees.
Yeah.
Is there a
You
spring over there?
Go to the library and pull topo maps.
I love maps.
Yeah.
I'm a total.
Yeah. I think a lot of people, I think that's what made Onyx so like successful, is that
Yeah.
also now you just have a map of the whole country, and for a couple more bucks you could get the maps of Oregon or whatever you're going to go to next and stuff.
Yeah. Later in high school, I was on some backpacking trips and that sort of thing, and learned how to do the full topo map, triangulate your position, figure out where you are, kind of get dropped into a place you don't know. And I think that's definitely a skill that a lot of people don't have.
Wild skill. So I have a buddy that's in the Army, and he used to text me where they'd, I guess, get pulled out of like bed in the middle of the night, and they'd get flown in. He was like airborne. So they would fly him somewhere, and they'd jump out, and they'd have to essentially land on the ground and figure out using maps and freaking stars or something where in the hell they're at. And he'd text me, be like, oh yeah, we just got dropped off in the middle of nowhere. Like, we're trying to figure out where we're at, and there's like a red team versus blue team thing or something. It sounded like, and they're racing to get back out. And I'm like, man, that's actually a skill. Like, I'm good at reading terrain. It'd be very difficult for me to get lost, and that's something from my childhood. But to get dropped somewhere and then just read a map it would probably just take some getting used to, or like it would take some practice for me.
Or the other thing is good at terrain where there is terrain. If you drop me in Kentucky,
Florida,
where it's all trees and there's you can't see anywhere. I don't know, man. I'd have to wait for the stars to know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't even know. In Florida, it drives me crazy. We'll do like 3 turns. I'm like, I don't know where I'm at anymore. I don't even know which way is north, south. Finally see the water. I'm like, oh yeah, okay. That's east or west, or I guess, or whatever side of the state I'm on there and stuff. And it's like, yeah, it definitely, I get really uneasy when I don't know where I'm at. I get lost.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay. So you have like these skills though, you're building by yourself though, which is different than a lot of people, right? Because they normally have that mentor to teach them. I mean, you're like naturally taking your horse to water. You're naturally like, I guess, guiding yourself up and over these mountains. I guess, how did that progress into the next phase, and what was that next phase of your life?
Yeah, I think the next phase was, I mentioned those trips. We did a lot of hiking and backpacking around Tahoe, Mount Rose Wilderness, through middle school, high school. And even in high school, I'd take my dog and I'd go, like when I was 15, my dad would drop me off and I'd go camp on Mount Rose, like with my dog.
So cool.
And
yeah.
And I hiked a lot, did those trips in the summer that the company doesn't exist anymore, but they're similar to Outward Bound, but not necessarily for bad kids, even though it could be argued I was not the best of kids.
we had similar programs that was just
Yeah.
more of like in the summer, the parents would drop on. It
Yeah.
was like summer camps, but it was more like adventurous than like sitting at a campground.
This was, I'd go for a month to like another state.
Yeah.
And you'd be in a group of people you've never met. And you go backpack,
Kayak.
climb,
Yeah.
ice climbed in Alaska, whitewater kayak, sea kayak. Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah. It was really cool. It was really amazing.
Again,
Shout out Long Anchor Expeditions. They don't
why
exist
you're going to be a
anymore.
co-host on this podcast, right? Is the skill set and stuff that you have. So I guess, so high school wise, you're just like all over the place.
Yeah.
But then at some point you kind of got into skiing.
Yeah. So
Right.
I had skied since my dad had been a ski instructor before I was born in Tahoe in the 70s. And so he put me in skis before I could walk. As soon as I could stand, we were in skis and would take us out, me and my sister as little kids, and let us run the mountain. My mom one time took me and my friend out. My friend couldn't ski very well. And I had to go to the bathroom, and I didn't want to wait for my friend. So I like shouted at her, "I'll meet you at the bottom." Darted into the trees. I was probably like 6 or 7. And she just had to stay with my friend and hope I was at the bottom.
Oh my God.
When she got
Yeah.
there. Yeah. And then it was kind of a weird twofold trip where my dad was really involved in Reno Rodeo.
Okay.
And the Wilderness Circuit Finals used to be in Ogden in the fall. And the guys that love to ski, like late fall, they would be like, "Well, I guess we'll go. It's going to be cold, you know." And then they'd go to the rodeo finals, but then they'd ski while they were there. And they took me with them. And this was right after the Olympics.
Okay.
In Salt Lake. And so we skied Snow Basin, which is where they had the downhill race in Snow Basin. And they had like a course set up. And I thought it was really fun and decided to start ski racing.
That was like a program that you guys got into with the schools, or is it like a private one?
Yeah. So I raced in high school for the team, but then I also raced for a local mountain. The one closest to Reno, it's Mount Rose, and lower level. So USSA, which is the U.S. Association, and then FIS, which is the International Federation, so I was lower level international. So I traveled a lot of local races because we're near Tahoe, down to Mammoth, that sort of thing. And then some big races too, like Alaska, Montana, Utah, Colorado.
So like that's like a change of pace though. It's weird because like you're going from, we're talking about like camping out in the middle of nowhere, you're riding your horse by yourself, to now all of a sudden you're like traveling kind of like either with like a team or you're around a lot of people and there's like crowds and competition, which I get. I think traditionally, I think you seem like a very competitive person, right? Like you want to win, and I'm that way too. And so I feel like we see each other in that way. I also like to be in the middle of nowhere. So it's always a weird balance for me, right? Because I like to compete and I like to go against other people, but I also don't like team sports.
Yeah, I had played volleyball earlier, which is very, very much a team sport, through middle school and early high school. And when I started ski racing, what I really love about it is you are part of a team. So you have a community, but when it comes down to it, your time is your time. And so really you're competing against yourself.
Yep.
And that's one thing I really loved about it, is I could be competitive, and yeah, I would get really frustrated with myself when I didn't do well. I knew I could do better, but there wasn't that like letting a team down.
Sure.
If you made a mistake, you let yourself down, maybe let your coach down, or at least perceived let your coach down. But so that was one thing I really liked about it, is just that independent aspect to a team sport. You're still part of that community. My best friend today, I know from high school ski racing.
It's a team until like literally the gate drops, right?
Yeah.
And then it's a solo sport until you get to the bottom, and then you're back to being a team. That's how racing was for me too, right? We do all the setup and we do all the prep together. And then once I go onto the track and you roll around the corner and the green flag waves, it's a solo sport. Then at that point, it's all up to me. And,
Yeah, absolutely.
and so it'd be the same thing, right? The second you drop down and you start going down the mountain, there is no team anymore, right? You are competing against your other teammates, and it's just you versus the hill, essentially, at that point. It's always like a freeing thing, but it teaches you things, because it teaches you that balance of like fighting against yourself. I've always like struggled with that, right? It's like I am my own worst enemy when it comes down to like competition. And I find that the being out in the wilderness and stuff also is the same thing, right? Like when I'm bow hunting, I'm like, dude, I I want to be perfect. Like I don't like it when I blow a stock or whatever. And so it's freeing and also not freeing.
Yeah. Or like in car racing and ski racing, you make a mistake and you have to override the panic.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Pull it back together and get right back to it.
Yeah. And because you might not have made a detrimental mistake, but if you do panic, you will.
Yeah.
Right. And so overriding the fight or flight is is something I think you learn from those type of sports as well.
Yeah. And there's just like there's that line in the sand too, where, I don't know, it teaches you, I guess, how to fail. That's like the biggest thing.
Absolutely.
Like people that don't do sports, and my wife and I talk about this all the time. Like we want our son to be in sports, whatever it is, because you got to learn how to fail. Because at some point in your life,
you're
gonna, and you have to figure out how to get past that. So super cool. Like the downhill skiing thing is actually funny for me, and I'm sure you're not super happy with the winter right now.
It's tough.
We're getting a river apparently, but not a snowstorm.
They keep saying it might cool off enough to snow, but I'll believe it when I see it. Yeah, it's hard. There's a little heartache, right, in the lack of snow right now.
Yeah, I guess right now we're filming this like right before Christmas, and there's no snow on the ground. So it's definitely tough. We were like joking that you like went out the other day because like Rose was like making some snow just to see if you still remember how to do it.
The river, the ribbon of death.
Yeah,
because everyone's stuck in the one little ribbon. Right.
And it's a lot of people that don't know what they're doing. Yeah.
You have program kids everywhere. You're just waiting for them to group up so you have your chance.
So I guess how far did you go with skiing? Kind of, and what was that next transition for you?
Yeah, I went
two-part question.
Okay. Yeah, so I did get to back then. So things changed names and things changed how they're called. But back then it was Junior Olympics, which was a final of some sort with my age group. But I wasn't that next level up where every once in a while I would race against someone who was elite and like going to the Olympics. But it was pretty rare. And a lot of times they were coming to help they called it giving their points away. Right. So they're kind of helping those next racers get up to that next level by bringing their points to the race. And so it was fun though, because you race against, back then, I was the one person I had raced against a couple times in downhill was Stacy Cook, who then went to the Olympics. And so you kind of watch where she is and where I maybe would have been if I was a similar time off of that.
Yeah, it's always like super fun to put yourself against somebody that is at a pretty elite level where like they're doing the work and stuff. It's like, I don't know, it's comforting to see that and stuff. And it also teaches you, again, it humbles you. Oh, absolutely. Right. I think that's really like a big part of like the company too, is like having those skills is amazing, but also being humble enough to know that you don't have all the skills and that you need other people is also like a really important part. Right. So cool. So skiing eventually
you age out.
Okay. So you aged out.
Yeah. So if you're not making, it's really competitive in the US. If you're not making the US teams by the time you're 18, which don't get me wrong, I wasn't close. Of course, everyone has dreams that maybe they'll make it. So I raced FIS until I would have been what's called a mid, which is like the 21 up.
It's like everybody else.
Yeah. And
you're no longer special.
That's right. But I was still in college, so it was kind of fine. I was still working. So during the time I worked a lot of seasonal jobs. So I worked for a ski shop in the winter and then pack station in the summer.
Okay.
Which I think it's really interesting. When you started asking me these questions, I'm like, man, I spent a lot of time alone. Right.
But it teaches you something. I guess that's
it's
kind of
true.
Like, that's a big part of this is a lot of people can't be alone.
Yeah.
Like there's something that's a thing that people cannot be alone with themselves. They don't know how to handle themselves by them, and even for me, like I know like my first like backpack solo hunting trip was the first time like for days I was by myself and it was weird. It took me a second. And then all of a sudden like the flip switched over and I'm like, all right, this is all I want to do. Like I'm okay with being by myself, but it takes a second.
Yeah.
So, like growing up that way is that that skill isn't necessarily acquired for you. It's like ingrained into your soul a little bit.
If you had asked me though, when I was 22 or 21, if I could be alone, I would have said no. But then when you look back,
spent most of your childhood
I spent
alone.
a lot of time alone. Yeah. Yeah. And same thing, even ski racing, we had talked about a little bit where some of the local races, big races, I got lucky where I would get sponsored, you know, when I had to travel farther for like week-long races, or I'd get scholarships from a local foundation. But to go to like Mammoth, you know, I couldn't afford a condo in Mammoth on my ski shop salary, you know, like I'm making like $9 an hour back then. And so I'd just drive down and sleep in my car once I had a car, right? Because otherwise I wasn't going to be able to go. And I had one race. I remember I was probably 20. It was a speed series that I had qualified for. And I went, man, I can't afford it. And my coach calls me. So the first day is, you get a practice run, and first 2 days you have practice runs, and I didn't show up the first day. And he calls me, he goes, "Where the heck are you?" I was like, "Oh, I didn't sign up because I can't afford to come." He goes, "You better get your butt down here." And he might have had some more choice words for me. But you know, I showed up and at that point, you know, I'm 20 years old, and they put me up with the coaches, and they're like, "No, you need to be here it was a bigger series." So it was really amazing that you have that support. But I don't think like my parents or my coaches knew that at 16 I was sleeping in my car in Mammoth.
One of like the funniest stories that you told me though is like running out of gas at the top of Rose.
Oh yeah.
And then not having brakes or power steering to go down it.
Yeah. I had an S10 Blazer, like a 94 or 95 S10 Blazer, and the fuel pickup is in the back. So if you're under a quarter of a tank, even if you're getting off the freeway and you hit the brakes too hard, you run out of gas. And then you just start it when you get to the bottom. But so yeah, going up and down a mountain every day as a teenager, and I'm putting $5 in my tank at a time because that's what I have. I would often come down and you hit the brakes to go around a turn and it would die. And so I realized there wasn't anything I could do. Yeah. The first time I hitchhiked down and got gas, and then I decided that took way too long. So I just stand both feet on the pedal, both hands on the steering wheel, and just muscle it around till I got, and then luckily you get to the bottom and you could coast out
just
the bottom.
Fire back up and just keep going.
And then once it leveled out, yeah, you fire back up and down you
wild.
go. And you still have a quarter of a tank of gas, so you get all the way home.
It's wild.
Maybe
That's
back
hilarious.
up the next day.
Literally go right back up and then do it all again the next day. That's hilarious. Yeah, no, I mean, like I think about it, like the amount of people you passed going down the hill, like that they were going up the hill, and you're just manhandling this car going down the road.
They're like, "What's wrong with that girl's face?"
At the time, there was no electric cars, so they just went by really quiet, just wind.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Yeah, that's crazy.
At one point in time, that starter started to go out, and I realized I could just hit it with a hammer, and it worked. And I probably ran it like that for 6 months.
Yeah, that was like the old trick. Yeah, you like hit it, and you're good to go again.
Yeah,
but it teaches you stuff. So I guess the whole entire thing that we're learning about you is that you're just super resilient when it comes down to just always doing your own thing. You know, if you're by yourself, you're going to entertain yourself. If you're amongst other people, you're going to be competitive. If your car runs out of fuel, you're going to keep driving it like a madman.
Well, I think a lot of that, sorry.
Yeah, no, you're good.
A lot of that came from, I don't know where I totally got this from, but I just kind of say yes. So same thing, I went to go work at the pack station because I got voluntold to go on the cattle drive for the Reno Rodeo when I was 18, which I still do to this day.
Which is hilarious, right? So you got voluntold and now you're like a big part of it.
The camp boss at that time, he's like, "You're 18 now? Great. You're on my crew. You're coming on the cattle drive." There was like,
because he saw something in you.
He knew that I could work hard.
Yeah.
And I worked
when you have skills.
Butt off. Yeah.
Right? You can work hard. He's not going to have to show you anything. You're going to be a help. He wants you there because you're not a person who needs a liability. You're going to help him with the liabilities that are there, right? I guess that's like a really big, important part of this conversation, right? Is that skill set that you have is HAViK. It's what everybody's looking at on wanting you there.
Yeah.
It's the reason why I want you on the podcast. It's the reason why he wanted you on the cattle drive.
Yeah. While I was on that cattle drive, the owner of the pack station that brings the horses for the guests, he didn't see me ride or anything. And he goes, "Hey, do you want a job?" for the summer. And I was like, sure. And I didn't even ask a lot of questions. He goes, cool, like show up next week with your bedroll. And I didn't totally process what I would be doing, but I did. I showed up to the June Lake Frontier Pack Station. I went down there. I showed up there and was not prepared to like live there the rest of the summer, but I did.
So what were you doing there then?
So you start out doing hour rides, right? And then there's a half day ride and all day ride. And then
and this is people showing up that want to go ride horses.
Yep.
And
Yeah,
you
into the
essentially
mountains.
take them out
Yeah.
and bring them back. And you're catering food, I'm assuming, to them too as well, like a
for
camp.
trips and all day rides, yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And so you're living in a bunkhouse with a bunch of other people. And if you do well, right, you get to go on trips and you get to pack. And so the owner, I don't know why, he really liked me and he taught me to pack. He taught me to shoe a horse. And because if you got to be able to put a shoe on a horse if you're in the mountains and they throw one, because up there it's solid granite and they wear through their shoes before you have to change them. And so you're going up the pack stations at 7,000 feet. You're above 10,000 feet within the first 45 minutes, going up literal concrete steps that they built
On
in
horses.
like the 1800s. We called it the Angel's Flight. It's literally switchback concrete steps straight up.
Where is this
cliff.
at?
June Lake.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
You know where the waterfall
Yeah.
main big waterfall comes off?
Yeah.
Just to the right of that, on that cliff, there is a set of concrete stairs that switch back up that cliff. And I went
Okay.
up it just about every day.
Huh.
With a load of mules.
On a whim, right? You don't even know what you said yes,
Yes.
to. You just went
Yep.
down there and all of a sudden now you're just doing this. So
yeah,
you did
so
that
you're getting
like a
up
summer?
at like 3:00 in the morning and saddling 35 horses or more. And then maybe packing some mules, taking people on trips.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I think that's actually something that people like underestimate, and it's actually a skill that I don't have is putting weight on an animal, right? It has to be balanced. I know
Yeah.
what your goals are. I've never personally done it because obviously I avoided horses growing up.
Sure.
But yeah, it's definitely a skill that you have to learn, right? You can make the horse lame and all sorts of bad things can happen.
Oh yeah, you can hurt them definitely. And most of those horses that they're half and quarter draft, they're big. You know, the mules are too. They're meant to hold weight.
So the amount of weight that you're putting on them is not nearly as much.
I
as
have
what they
like
can
I
carry.
have little cow horses. I would never take them down there and pack in the mountains with them. They probably could do it, but it'd be a lot for them.
And they're in shape, right? Because they're packing every day too. Right?
Oh yeah,
So
yeah,
you gotta
every
work them
day
into
up
it.
the mountain. Yeah. So I ended up as a cook, on some trips. Which as a cook, your primary job is not to cook the food; it's to keep the bears away from the food.
Oh sure, yeah,
Yeah. And so you're usually up all night yelling at bears.
freaking bears, man.
Especially there's one canyon called Lyle Canyon up above Tuolumne Meadows in Yosemite. That it's where they put all the bad bears from Yosemite Valley, from the village.
They're just
So there's like 3 or 4 of them in there, and there's multiple camps. And you'd be laying there, and you'd hear like yeah, bear, and then it'd be quiet for a minute. You hear like yeah, bear, yeah, and you're like, oh, here he comes. And then you hear this like grunting, like, and then you're like, oh, my turn. You know, and you get up and you like bang a pot and pan. You're like, yeah, bear, yeah, right. Just like all night long.
And the bears just like, oh damn,
They
I
do.
just want.
They
some
just
food.
keep going.
There's
Right, they're
laps.
relentless, and they take the same little trail around. It's wild, and so I think it's kind of funny because I had friends who were going to college, joining sororities, and I'm like, I can't. I'm still going to be at the pack station yelling at bears.
That's hilarious. It's a completely wild like thing where they're like, I don't even know what that means, and then just like leave. We camp in Grass Valley almost every year in like California, I guess Grass Valley, California, for 4th of July, just like the place that we've been going for like 10 years, and there's a ton of black bears there, and that campground is just full of them. And we, at the very beginning, we were all poor college students or just got out of college, so we were all like in tents next to our cars, and the bears are just taking everything every single night. And one night we were like up still playing games, and like out of the corner of our eye, like there's a bear in one of the ice chests. Well, and it took a bag of ice out of it. But it was just like the cubs.
Poor guy only got.
Well, we were like
bag of
laughing
ice.
because it's like they're sending in all the cubs, the little guys, like training them, and the mom's in the woods just being, "You got a bag of ice, you piece of shit! Go back in there.
Go back in there and get something worth eating.
I
I want some gummy bears."
They came back in, grabbed lettuce that time, and I was like, "Dude, that mom's gonna be pissed.
Yep.
Like, this is nothing we wanted." But we've chased them off so many times. They're like getting into the bear boxes while we're still sitting there like 10 feet away.
Yeah, they're relentless.
And I'm never like, black bears don't scare me at all. Like I've hunted them so many times to know that they're more scared of me than I am of them.
Really.
Grizzlies scare the crap out of me, but
same.
But black bears don't. And yeah, so they're just a nuisance thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're talking to your sorority friends about chasing off bears. Wild. Hey, I hate to interrupt my own podcast with a HAViK ad, but I'm going to do it anyway. If you head over to spreadhavik.com, you can see all the different merch and gear that we're currently carrying. While you're there, sign up for HAViK Society and get email notifications on new drops, what we're doing with the community, and hunting, fishing, homesteading know-how, and more. Again, spreadhavik.com to get your gear today. Now, back to the podcast. Learned a ton of stuff, I'm assuming, in that experience.
Oh, yes.
Shoeing. You're also learning how to pack. You're learning, obviously, how to chase off bears. It's just like this cool experience.
An amazing country.
Yeah,
it's just crazy, beautiful country.
Well, people are paying to literally go into that country, and you're just living in it for the summer. Really cool. I guess you're getting paid to live in it for the summer.
You're not getting paid a lot. Yeah.
I had a feeling when he's like, "You want a job?" And I'm like, "It's not going to pay very much."
Yeah, they're like, it's seasonal. You live there. They don't have to pay you. They don't pay a lot.
Yeah.
Hopefully, if you're good though, you make good tips.
But it sounds like for the most part, at this point at least, like you're less about money and more about just the adventure. Yeah, you're like, I'd rather go to Rose than work a job, and I'll just coast down that son of a bitch at the end of the day instead of go work a job, get enough fuel so that I can go once or twice this weekend. You're just like, I'm going to go anyway.
I did when I found out I was graduating my undergrad.
Sure.
At that point in time, I didn't really know what I wanted to do because I had thought I was going to go to veterinary school, and then I changed my mind and realized that wasn't what I wanted to do. And my advisor was like, "Oh, your calendar year is wrong. I'm going to change it back to what it should be, and you'll be out this semester." I thought I had 2 semesters left. Yeah. She goes, "You only have 1 left." And I walked out of her office and cried because I was like, I have to get a real job. I literally was like, I called my sister and I go, "What am I going to do?"
I just lost a whole year of just
ticking off. Another semester of not having to be an adult. I was so scared. I was working at that point in time. I was actually working for the Reno Rodeo Foundation, and it wasn't a full-time job. So I was doing some other stuff and writing.
It was money so you could go do something else, right?
Yeah, and I just totally panicked, and I was like, I guess I'll just go to grad school. Which I didn't.
So what was your undergrad in? Because I feel like that kind of leads us into
my degree.
Me and you are obviously friends, so I know a lot of this background, but we're talking through it all.
My degree was in biology because I had wanted to go to veterinary school. Kind of realized later that it's funny given where I ended up, but I'm a softie, and I wanted to do orthopedics and dogs because it's mostly power tools, and then had a really good mentor in that aspect as well. That was really amazing. He's no longer a veterinarian in town, but he was really good at what he did. And I got to sit in on a lot of his surgeries, and I just thought it was fascinating what you can do to fix a dog. Yeah. And then I also thought, well, by the time...
Are you a softie for all animals though, or mostly just like pets?
No, I'm pretty bad. Like you'd be surprised.
If you're like butchering an animal, like
once they're dead, it's fine.
Okay.
Really?
But I mean, you hunt to a degree.
Yes.
Right.
Oh yeah. The actual killing of the animal, I do not love it.
I mean, I don't either.
Right.
And I think that most like legitimate hunters don't enjoy the death part.
Yeah.
They enjoy the success part, right, of harvesting.
Yeah. And then once it's dead, butchering it is fine. Yeah. You know.
Like my brother killed a spike, and he was like pretty bummed about it because he's like, it's too young. Mm-hmm. Like he had a hard time with it.
Yeah. Well, and so
I mean, it was actually for a spike, it was actually very mature too. Yeah. But it was, difficult for him.
Yeah. And so after college, I went and I worked for a litigation company and then applied randomly to be a game warden. Yeah. For Nevada. And so I had to put
that fits.
Yeah.
To me.
Yeah. I had to put down a lot of animals when I worked for Endow, right? They're gut shot. They're standing in a field. It sucks. You see it. And for me, it never got easier. I just still don't like to do it.
When you put down an animal like that on the fields, what happens with that animal? I actually don't know the answer.
So it depends. Luckily I was based out of Winnemucca, and we had a handful of options. If it was something that was caught relatively quickly, Like someone called and you knew you were there. You knew you were there within a reasonable period of time. You could donate it to the food bank. The only thing was getting like the grind, the processing donated somehow because like, or the state had to pay for it. Right. So usually
Because you have to take it to a butcher because you're not doing the butchering. So
Yep.
you have to take the animal to a butcher.
Yeah.
They have to donate the butchering essentially.
Yeah.
Or you have to get approval for the actual
Yes.
payment of the butchering.
Right. So either way, and usually we could get approval because you don't obviously wanton waste is a felony. So
Yes.
right,
You're
we
out
don't
there
want to do
literally
that.
policing
Yes.
the fact of not wasting the
That's
animal, right? So
Yeah. So if the meat is clearly good, right? So that was the other thing is you have to make the call that this is, human consumption, right? Ready for that. So you take it to the
Well,
butcher.
some of the animals, though, like you said, that you're putting down. So I'm assuming
Yes.
on those ones, it's an easy call. You're like,
Yeah.
that animal's good.
yeah,
run it to a
and
butcher.
maybe they would have like a shoulder that was bad or something like that. Obviously, that wouldn't go.
I feel like the butcher would just make that call, though.
Yeah. And so it's pretty cool because the food bank out in Winnemucca loved getting meat. They were always so stoked because they get a lot of obviously canned goods and stuff. That's what people donate all the time.
Yeah,
But you're bringing them fresh meat and they would be so happy.
totally.
The other thing we could do, we had a couple wildlife sanctuaries. So if you weren't totally happy and ready to put yourself, behind like making it good for human consumption,
Yeah.
you could skin it and take it to one of the wildlife sanctuaries. They'd feed it to like a tiger
Oh,
or something.
yeah. There's that one out in Animal Ark and stuff.
Yeah. And then there's
Yeah.
one in Emily as well. And so,
Yeah, I guess they had to have like the bacteria
Yeah.
to eat it, even if it wasn't great.
yeah, they're fine. So if it was a little bit questionable, you could do that. And then obviously if it was beyond that, it was beyond that. And
You just dump it.
yeah, hopefully somewhere you could hide it where people wouldn't find it and keep calling it in. Right. Because
So you would leave it out there.
yeah, or if it was like a bigger rack, you'd take the rack, you take the head.
So there was no like reason for somebody to go back.
Yeah, but then people call because they're like, someone took the head. Like, yeah, it was dead for like at least a week.
Yeah, you're like, I already know about it.
I already know. Yeah.
Yeah, because I had I was actually just south of, I guess, it was north of Boston. I had an antelope tag out there and stuff, and I ended up talking to one of the wardens about that, and I think we've talked about it before. He was an awesome warden. I had a situation where I called him because
Yeah.
it was a weird, awkward hunting situation where there was animal that were on legal public land, and it's not checkerboard too bad out there, but there was ranches involved, but they were on the edge
Sure.
of private land.
Yeah.
And it was a situation where I wanted to go after them, but I thought it was really weird. And so I called him just kind of out of the blue, and I was like, hey, yeah, this is like my situation. I sent him a pin. I was like, hey, this is kind of what I'm thinking. And he's like, oh, I'm 2 miles from you. I'm just going to come. So he came over, and like me and him were kind of bullshitting and stuff. And he's trying to get me access to the private land because he knows the ranchers out there. Anyway, long story short on that is
It's a long story.
this is a long, short story long. He ended up calling me later on because somebody was poaching out there.
Yeah.
And for a second, he was like interviewing me. Where you guys been? Like, where you guys been? Like, what have you been seeing? And I was like, oh, I finally gave him. I was like, it kind of clicked where I'm like, yeah, this is exactly what we did. I
Yeah.
could send you all my Onyx and my tracking and all this kind of stuff. The people essentially were shooting. It was a horns longer than ears tag. I think that they shot an antelope. It was shorter than ears, and
left
they
it.
left it.
Yeah.
Or it might have been vice versa. Anyway, they left it, and I was like, man, like that's what happens with that animal. I was really bummed. It bummed me out. It kind of ruined the day a little bit for me because I just like that just pisses me off. Again, I don't like the death part.
Oh yeah.
And if the animal's gonna die, do something with it. Like, eat it, consume
Yeah.
it. Like I try to consume everything, the tongue, the heart, everything. So for a whole animal to go to waste, that kills me inside.
Same.
Just
Same.
it's brutal.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was DeMarcus, right?
Marcus.
DeMarcus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn, the memory on Dom.
Yeah.
This is what we keep you around. Yeah, DeMarcus, game warden out there. You're the shit if you actually hear this.
The wardens I worked with are awesome.
Yeah.
I had a great experience and loved my coworkers. It's really
they're out there for the right reasons, I would assume, for the most part.
Yeah.
Because again, we'll go back to, I guess, your part in it.
Yeah.
You're by yourself, which is, again,
But you have to be able to
another
talk
tale.
to people.
You
So
have to
it's
have
not
social
like a
skills.
full introvert job because you have to go be able to knock on a trailer or walk into a camp and just, hey, how's it
In
going?
an awkward situation, right? Because
Often.
one, they have a gun. You know they have a gun pretty much because they're hunting.
Yeah.
And two, you don't really know the person in the situation at all, right? You're just running into them in the middle of Nevada. And if you've ever been in the middle of Nevada, like there's some spots where you're like, I ran into other hunters and I've like, it's been awkward. Yeah. You kind of come over another hill and you're just like, hey, you cool?
I don't know.
Weird. Because there's also weird people in the middle of Nevada.
I don't know if I've told you this. When I worked for Endow, I lived in Norvada, and Claude Dallas would stay in the house 2 houses over when he came to town.
Really?
Yes.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So you know who that is,
Yeah,
right?
uh-huh.
Yeah. And so, and the guy he would stay with was really nice.
Huh.
And I'd run into him. And if you know Arvada, there's the gas station. It's the only thing out there. You stop in the gas station and the old guys are sitting there having their coffee,
Yeah.
and he was always super nice. And actually when we went to move, I was transitioning like into Winnemucca and he goes, hey, I wanted to offer you a place to stay, but Claude's with me for like the next month. So maybe after that. I'm like, thanks.
So-
I appreciate it, but I
so
have a
nice.
place to stay. Like, so nice.
So nice. Yeah.
But yeah, most of what's cool is most of the hunters are doing it right.
Yeah.
They want to do it right. And unfortunately, sometimes people make mistakes.
Is that for the most part what you ran into though? Was like honest people that just like straight up?
There's like a little bit of both. Yeah. Those people usually report themselves, which is the best thing to do if you do make a mistake.
Yeah. What happens with that actually? Like that's a good thing to talk about.
You're usually
Say I shoot an antelope that I have a shorter in ears tag, it's longer in ears, and I report it.
yeah. So
Am I paying a fine?
yes,
Pretty
you're
much
still going to get a ticket,
Yeah.
right? But you might not get a felony. You might not get your license revoked.
Do you get to keep the animal?
No.
See, that's the thing that kind of upsets me.
Yeah, but it's going to go to the food bank.
I
it's
guess
not gonna get
as long as it
put to
goes,
waste.
I guess it goes.
Yeah, as long
if
as
it doesn't
it's-
go to waste.
As long as it's been taken care of, it's not going to go to waste. So, for example, I had a junior. This happens often where he's on private property with someone they know, allowed to be there. And there's, Nevada is deceiving. There's these kind of little rolling hills. There's draws that you don't see. He has a deer in his sights, shoots it. It takes a couple steps, goes down, pops back up again. And so he thinks, oh, I didn't get it. Shoots it again. They walk out there.
2 deer.
2 deer.
Yeah.
Similar size, right? Would have been really tough to tell them apart in any situation. So he's a junior. It's like a, 13-year-old, right?
Yeah.
They call me. They process both of them.
Yeah.
Take a bunch of pictures. Call me. We go out there. And I mean, in that case, because it was a kid, I didn't write him a ticket.
Sure.
I took one of the animals, right? Donated it.
Sure.
And then asked them to go back to hunter safety, him and his dad.
Yeah, that's a good
Right.
move.
I was like, look, I can't make you do this. I'm going to ask you to donate the grind at the food bank, and I'm going to ask you to go back to hunter safety. I can't make you in this case.
I mean, you could have fined them.
I could have.
But
I could have.
I mean, you were being like,
Yeah.
hey, it's a kid.
Yeah.
Let's say make this a learning experience.
And I'm not saying every warden is going to treat it the same way because we have a lot of discretion. But so same situation. If that were an adult, I'd probably write a ticket for like 2 times the tag limit instead of, right?
You should be more in control of your emotions in that situation, right? Especially if you're a 13-year-old and there's a deer, you shoot the deer, it goes down, and then it's back up.
Mhm.
There's the buck fever, right? You have
Oh,
a lot
yeah.
of emotions and stuff.
Oh,
Even
yeah.
as an adult, it's hard to control. So I can imagine as an adult, you should control it to a point of like double check. I've been in that situation before
Yeah.
where you shoot and it moves, and then you see another deer and you're like,
Is it the same one?
is it the same
Yeah.
one? You're looking for blood, you're waiting.
Or especially if
But
you
you
have like a
wait,
doe tag.
right? Yes.
Oh, man.
Yeah, it's impossible, right?
Yeah.
With that situation with the kid though, that emotion of I just shot a deer, maybe it's his first deer, he's all hyped up.
Oh, yeah.
The dad sees it step back out. The kid's like, do I shoot again? He just shoots.
Yeah.
Like I can see it going down really, really quick. And you don't want to necessarily, I think having the youth, like younger generations learning how to hunt is really, really important for conservation. So you want to teach them a lesson without
Yes.
making it be a big deal. Where like,
You want them to know the severity,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
But you don't I don't want to revoke that kid's license.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
It's just a good move.
For however many years he has to go back to hunter
Not that I
safety,
haven't seen
work
it, but I think it's a good move.
points off of it. Yeah. The biggest thing that people get really upset about is there's a couple of infractions where you have to go back to hunter safety before you can apply for tags again. And
They don't know it until.
And usually you're like, you're going to get a ticket, and they expect that, you know. You go, do you want the bad news or the worst news? And you have to take this form in. And then when you go to hunter safety, because I go to hunter safety and you talk to people who are there, you could always tell the people who had one of those, because they're like, what if in this situation, what would you have done? And you're like, let me guess. Those, just so you know, those are loaded long gun in a vehicle, or shooting over highway or roadway.
Yeah.
You have to go back to hunter safety before you can apply. And loaded long gun in a vehicle is where they get you when you're shooting out of your vehicle.
Got it.
Right. So like, if it's snowing and really cold outside and you're in the passenger seat and you're shooting at jackrabbits, and you're on public land, right? It's a no. You have loaded long gun in a vehicle,
which I imagine happens a lot more now with like all the side by side stuff, right? Because everybody's just ripping around.
If you're driving around and you know your shotgun, one loaded being one in the chamber, right, is in your sheath or whatever. It's not a good idea.
Yeah. You can have them.
Around. Yeah.
You can have them down though, right? Just not one in the action.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I don't ever keep one in the action because I just think that's borderline. Like if you're pulling that gun out or whatever, you're just asking for trouble, right?
Yeah. And you hear a lot of stories, especially once you get in there, you know, and you think nothing of it. You know, you go set your rifle even on the tailgate of the truck. Truck's not running. You're not going anywhere. You're going to put it away before you leave. Yeah. And then something happens, you pick it up and it goes off and it shoots your buddy or whatever. Yeah.
I normally take the one out of the action as I'm walking up to the car.
You hear so many of these stories. And it's funny because not funny, but interesting. Prior to that, I didn't hear any of them. But then once you're kind of in and around it, you're like, oh, this happens all the time.
Crazy. People
hurting other people or themselves.
Yeah. I mean, guns are, the hunter safety part of just gun safety is a wild thing. They don't just randomly go off, but if you fuck up enough.
Yeah. That's why you got to go like
precision resilience.
Take classes. Yeah.
Yeah. No, and that's why those classes exist.
They're important. Anyway, we're getting off track.
Yeah. Okay. Getting back to it though is, so game warden, were you at the same time doing the rodeo queen stuff? Or was that before this?
This was before. Yeah. So
a real rewind.
Yeah. Rewind back to like college days. And my dad had always joked, it's kind of funny because I'm the second child and I feel like they wanted a boy. I have an older sister. And so I kind of feel like I'm a total tomboy. I was like raised as a boy.
They were just like, fuck it, we're just going to do it this way.
Yeah, but he would always give me a hard time for being not ladylike. And he used to threaten to send me to finishing school. And I'm like, I don't know what you wanted. This is what you raised.
You're like, whatever. And then you just leave on your horse.
Yeah, like burp and walk away, you know? Okay. And so it's funny because we were involved in a rodeo for a long time. And someone said, you know, you should run for queen. And I knew a lot of the queens from Reno and I liked them, but I also had met a lot of queens from other places. And they have rodeo queens have a stigma for kind of being maybe not the smartest. They give them a hard time for not being able to ride.
It's that pageant vibe, right?
It is. Yeah, it is. You're kind of a Barbie. You just want the attention. And so when someone told me you should run for Reno, I cussed them out. So I was like,
you call me dumb?
Are you fucking crazy? Yeah. You think I'm stupid? And then I started talking to some people that I knew who had done it, that I have a lot of respect for. And I realized that the best way to change a stigma is to just not be that and to do it.
Put a smart person in that role. Right?
And so when I was 20, I ran the first time when I was 20 and I was last, which is not shocking, right?
Yeah.
There's
public a lot speaking. To it though, right?
Oh yeah. Public speaking scared the crap out of me. Yeah. So you're judged. It is a pageant basically, but your talent is horsemanship. And in Reno, you get a draw horse. You get on a horse you've never ridden before, and then you do a reining pattern with them. They're probably not a reining horse. They're usually a rope horse or a barrel horse.
I don't know.
Yeah, I know. So they're usually a horse that doesn't do the thing you're asking them to do on a regular basis. They can do it, but it's not what they always do. And then you give a speech, you answer impromptu questions in front of the membership. You answer really politically charged impromptu questions, which I think that's my biggest reason for supporting the program and why I believe in the program is it really makes a young woman have to decide how she feels and what she thinks.
Have an opinion.
You
Don't
have
just be
to
a
have an
sheep,
opinion.
yeah.
You cannot go,
Yeah.
I understand both sides of the issue. You have to have an opinion, and you better know why you think what you think.
I want world peace.
It's a total joke in the
Yeah.
pageant world.
Yeah.
World peace.
Yeah, but like in this one, you're like,
Yeah.
who do you want to win, blue or red, and why?
Yeah, it's pretty. Yeah, I got asked if I agreed with then Senator Harry Reid, who's a Democrat, for closing Yucca Mountain. I'm dating myself, right?
Yeah.
And I was a biology major,
Yeah.
so I actually really didn't agree with Yucca Mountain with all the transport of radioactive material. So I had to have a really great way to say, yeah, I agree with him, in a room full of not Democrats.
Yeah. Yeah.
But so instead,
Which is cool though, because from a respect standpoint on that, you had, I'm sure, very good points because one, you're a biologist by education.
Well, I explained nuclear fission very briefly.
And they were like, all right, she's smarter than us. We're just going to
And why I thought transport wasn't a good idea, and why I thought Nevada doesn't even have a nuclear facility.
Mm-hmm.
Why I thought if they had to be in charge of their own waste, they would manage it better.
Yeah.
Right. They would take more responsibility for it.
Yeah.
And so I didn't really mention agreeing with the Democrat, but that was my answer. Right.
Sure. You probably just pointed out the cons to having it.
Yeah.
To having that,
Yeah,
right?
but
And laid out your case that way instead of being like, I disagree with him or I agree with him, is more of like,
absolutely.
This is my stance on the whole overall situation. And this is why I think that it's probably better to go this direction, which is not the pageant way.
Right. But learning that about yourself and forcing yourself to go through with it's a handful of things. Forcing yourself to understand political issues on a more nuanced level so that you can answer those kinds of questions that way. And then I lost the second one already. Dang it.
Yeah. Sounded good.
Resilience. No. Being uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So much of HAViK, right,
Mm-hmm.
is making yourself uncomfortable and getting through that discomfort.
Yeah.
And so same thing.
Yeah.
I didn't want to be a public speaker. And now you know how good I am at wedding toasts? Oh my gosh. I can crush a wedding toast. Even if I don't know you very well.
Yeah. You're like,
right?
I'm going to make some shit up. Everybody's going to love this shit here.
Yeah. It still surprises me sometimes how I can pull it together.
You got a 20-second sample?
But I practice so much. Well, actually, so one of my best friends, I didn't have anything because she kind of hadn't asked me to speak. And then the day of, she's like, if you want to say something, will you say something? I'm like, I'll say something. I got this. And I pulled together just a handful of bullet points and put together a pretty nice speech. And she goes, hey, can you send me your speech? And I was like, I don't have it. I have the 5 bullet points that I put together. Right.
Yeah.
And she was just shocked that's
cool
that I could pull that together. But it's because I practice that over and over and over. Making yourself uncomfortable, getting through it. And public speaking became one of those things I'm pretty strong at.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you just touched on, like, I think one of the core values of of the brand or the behind the scenes of HAViK, which is I love being uncomfortable.
Yeah.
It's like one of my favorite things. Shut up, Dom. That's why I have Dom. That's why I constantly have Dom around, because I'm just uncomfortable when she's here.
She's judging you.
Always
all
judging
the
me.
time.
Oh yeah. You see her face most of the time. But yeah, being uncomfortable, and I talk about this with my son all the time. It's one of those things that you're gonna be uncomfortable many times in your life, and the better you can deal with it, the more successful you're gonna be, without a doubt.
Oh yes.
10 out of 10. That's the most important skill to me to have, is just being uncomfortable and being okay with it.
I realized that I really like being brand new at something because I don't judge myself as much. Right? I'm like, oh, I'm new. It's fine. if I make mistakes. Now, don't get me wrong. Once I've done it for a little bit, I'm really
Then
hard
you're,
on myself.
then you're competitive and you want to
Yeah.
keep going.
But that being brand new and learning a new thing, I really enjoy that experience because, yeah, it's a little bit of a lack of judgment. I've never done this before. It's okay that I'm not good at it. But then embracing that discomfort of, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not good at this, and that's okay. Till I should be good at it, and then it's not okay.
So that makes me think of like one of the things that you've been doing, which is making your own wooden skis and
Oh my
then
gosh.
doing like period appropriate
Did.
downhill skiing, which I think is hilarious. Because how long are those skis?
14 feet.
14.
They have to be between 10 and 16 feet to be legal for the world championships.
And- but you're making them yourself,
Yes.
and then you're transporting these giant skis to this hill in which you race down the hill in like period appropriate
Yes.
attire, right?
One-on-one, head-to-head. Yep.
And you're just essentially
Single-
sitting down.
Single
right?
elimination. No, you want to
you still-
stand because if you
Okay.
sit, you have too much drag,
Okay.
right? So you want a nice like squat.
Yeah. The video of you is awesome.
That was I sat down and I couldn't get back up.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
so
Sorry.
I-
That's why I thought
yeah.
you were supposed to sit
Yes,
because you
no.
were just going by sitting.
No. Yeah, so it's really cool. It's one of the first places they did ski racing in the US. And my friend and I went up there and watched one day and we just looked at each other and we went, you know what?
I'm going to do it.
Yep, let's do it. And the next year we made our skis. There's a class that they offer. So we had some help
Yeah.
and we went to the Portola High School.
Yeah.
They have a really good wood shop. And what was funny is it's me and my friend. I've never made anything out of wood in my life. That's not true. I've like maybe hammered a fence post, that sort of thing.
No nails. You're just hammering a fence post.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. For funsies, while my dad's building a
Yeah.
barn and I'm over here just hammering on stuff.
Yeah. You're doing great.
Yeah.
You keep just doing your thing.
And we're in this class there's like at least 3, older retired carpenters, who just want to build a nice, really pretty pair of skis for their wall. Couple guys who are going to race them. Someone's going to race someone else's.
Yeah.
And then here we are. Like, is this wood? No, we're not that bad. But, we have these just big, started out as 20-foot chunks of Douglas fir.
You're just like
From
whittling
the
away
mill
at
up
'em.
there.
With
Mhm.
hand tools, or are you using power tools?
We got to use power tools. So the planer, joiner,
Got it.
cut them down and then finished them with hand tools.
So yeah. Okay.
So
Hand
they're
planes and
pretty
stuff to shape them.
They're pretty ugly.
No
mine
judgments.
are. I have grand ideas of what mine would look like, and they're functional, so it's
You-
okay. They're
So
not
you
pretty.
have it all
They're
drawn
functional.
up. You have it pictured out, and then you like get the final product. You're like, ugh.
I'm like, I gave up. Right, like with just shaping the top to make it look nice. I was like, good enough. They're gonna work. I'm gonna be able to ski them. I can always mess with them later if I want to really dial them in and make them prettier. But it's kind of cool that they're not that pretty.
Sure.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, it's really
Super
fun
wild.
though. Hopefully we get enough snow to have some races this year because right now we definitely do not.
no, yeah, there's no.
It's
snow.
really low up there. The elevation's low.
Yeah, I mean, so like my parents pretty much lived like down the street from that
Yeah.
area. That's where I grew up,
Yeah.
and yeah, it's supposed to be raining. It's maybe supposed to snow on Thursday.
Didn't
Which
you
is-
say your grandfather or great grandfather worked at that mill?
My great grandfather worked at that mill, and my
Yeah.
great grandmother used to ski that area.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
pretty awesome.
yeah, but
That's
yeah, my
cool.
family goes way back in that area and stuff. So it's some history there.
You're welcome for carrying on your heritage for you. I'm just
Thanks.
kidding.
No, when you said you were doing it, I was like, man, I really want to go watch that because I'm pretty sure
It's
like,
really
she
fun
would
to
have been on
watch too.
skis just like that, probably in a very similar outfit,
Oh yeah.
ripping down to bring him lunch or something stupid.
Yeah. It's really fun to watch too. It's kind of like tailgating.
Yeah.
Right. You can
Oh, yeah.
they have some good vendors there and there's always a band like
So are you doing it this year?
yeah. Oh yeah. I built those skis. I got to run them.
When does that go?
It's-
'Cause
they
I
do
thought
it-
was like soon, right? But there's no snow. So
Yeah,
we're
the
waiting.
third Sunday of January, February, and March. And so this year, I'm pretty sure we won't have a January. We haven't for the last couple years.
Yeah. Winter's been late the last couple of years too.
Yeah, so hopefully we get at least 2. And then March is considered the World Championships because no one else does it. Right.
Sure, it's the best in the world. Right
Yeah,
there.
and you don't pre-qualify or anything by racing in February. It's whoever shows up in March. You go head to head, single
like practice
single
runs.
elimination. Yep.
That's rad.
Yeah, and you get they give medals. and
HAViK's gonna come. HAViK will sponsor you this
Oh
year.
yeah, thanks. We can
Yeah.
we can torch the HAViK logo in my skis because I built my race. You have a race name. My race name is Powder Pistols, and I actually I made a stencil that's a pistol, so it's like shooting,
rad.
and I haven't torched them yet, so we can do some torching. We can work on the skis.
Oh yeah, that's awesome.
Put the HAViK logo in it.
Definitely want to come. So like moving forward, I mean, it's really, really cool what you've done with your past and the skill set that you had. And like, as we've become like friends and talked and stuff, working together at Senka Send, it's been every single time I talk to you, I'm like, she did this. Like, oh, she did this. And you know, like
I blew your mind when I told you I did a figure show.
You did a figure show. Yes. So you've done
It's just
bodybuilding.
saying yes to uncomfortable things,
Which
is what
I
I've
think
done with my life.
The reason why that resonates is I don't say no either. I tend to do a lot of random stuff as well, and I try to do it really at a high level or
Yeah.
get really into it, and so it resonates with me, and like that's why HAViK I think is got the brand that it has, is that we don't say no. We want to have a lot of skills, and we want to not be the norm and be a sheep and just following what everybody else is doing, and you fit in that mold perfectly. And so as we're having more conversations with those people, I'm like, what better person to be sitting with all the time talking to these guys is with you. And I don't know how often you're gonna be able to make it, but it's as often as you want to be on the show. It's gonna be really cool to have you.
It's gonna be fun.
It's for us, like as we're building this brand of HAViK, we're trying to develop that brand and what that means. And you know, Gabe, which was our first podcast, and you've met Gabe, super cool individual. And we're definitely trying to see the people that are standing up for our society point of view. Like those are the guys that are keeping the glue that keeps society together. There's also the other side of it where if society falls apart, like, do you have the skills to survive if 911's not there anymore? Because I think that's a really important part. And that's the thing that I'm trying to teach my son. And that's the uncomfortable part.
Yeah.
You're not going to be comfortable with those situations. And when you don't know something, are you able to like persevere through that and learn the skills that you have? And I guess another thing that we're trying to do with this podcast in particular is ask that like HAViK question of the podcast, which in this one is like, if the world were to go to shit tomorrow, what's the first thing that you would do?
Yeah, I'd probably come here. I don't
That's a
own
good
property
answer.
anymore.
Yeah.
I used to own property, have an artesian well. I was, freezer stocked. I was pretty solid. And now I don't own property right now. And so I'm probably coming here. I'll help set up a water system.
Honestly, like during COVID, because there was like a little hint of the world going to shit.
Oh yeah.
It was so nice being out here. Like everybody's like locked up. And
I
you
lived
can't
out
go
here
anywhere.
during COVID.
Oh, so we were down the street from each other. But yeah, I don't have any neighbors really. So we just we went on walks and we went and did whatever we needed to do.
Yeah.
And it's just perfect. It was good timing. But yeah, it's a good answer. It's
So I think the important part, if that's the case, is you have skills that you bring to the table, but then you know people who also has complementary skills that come to the table.
Yep.
Right. And that's you have to build a tribe, because there's a whole reason we are tribal. Humans are group.
Yeah.
We're group animals.
It's funny you use the word tribe. So I listen to podcasts like when I'm working during the day, pretty much exclusively, and they were talking about, this one guy was talking about how he kind of runs his company, and he was talking about how he treats it like a tribe, and that it's a village in which they all work together in a cohesive manner to better the tribe itself. And I literally wrote it on the wall in Sharpie in the shop. It's like a HAViK should be a tribe. And whoever is a part of HAViK, whether it's the podcast, whether it's the company itself, whether it's us, how we're going to be a part of the society, and this is why we're doing the first responder stuff, is we want to treat it like a tribe. We should be supporting each other in whatever way that we can actually do it, whether it's financially, whether it's emotionally, with like a mental health stuff.
Yep.
It's a tribe. And so that's really, it's funny that you bring that up, because that's exactly what we're kind of trying to do here. not in like a culty way,
No,
right?
no, but having that.
Not like a, hey, like we're gonna be a cohesive thing and we're gonna share everything, and then at the end we're gonna drink Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
Maybe, actually, I don't know. But
if it's real bad, I'll drink the Kool-Aid.
if it's really
if it's
shitty.
really bad.
If it's like volcanoes erupting and we're like trying to grow plants like we're on Mars, maybe. But
that cohesive group of people that are working together, you bring different people have different strengths.
Yeah.
Right. Some people they can grow a plant. They can be a protector.
Yeah.
They can, pack a wound without, wanting to vomit.
I definitely have
Right?
like that core group of friends.
Dom's not packing wounds.
What do you bring to the table, Dom?
She's gonna bring the books. She's gonna bring the library.
She's a little theater person, so she'll entertain us.
Entertainment.
It'll be a one-man show.
No, I'll join you. It'll be fun. Just don't want to hear me sing. Don't make it a musical.
Moving forward, I'm really excited what we're building with HAViK and the tribe that we're building here, inside and outside of the company. Really excited to have you as part of this. I think moving forward and stuff, we're going to have a lot of really good conversations on this podcast with other people. We got to know you better on this particular podcast. And I really thank you for coming on and jumping on here and just having this conversation just one-on-one with me.
Yeah. It's been fun.
Yeah.
I think HAViK is going to be all you ever dreamed of and more. I know it's hard. It's the beginning, right? So you're in the little bit of a slog.
We're in the trenches right now.
Yeah, you're in the trenches for
14-hour days.
Starting it up. Mm-hmm.
Wearing all the hats and stuff.
Yeah.
And I think going back to the tribe thing, though, is I have a lot of really great support.
Yes.
And I've been asked this before. 5 years ago, kind of sort of tried to do this same thing, but I was also working 2 other jobs, and it just wasn't prioritized. It wasn't the right time. But also another thing was I just didn't know the right people. Mm-hmm. There's like certain people now that I have in my corner that are willing to go to bat for me. That is what's going to make or break this whole thing. I couldn't do it by myself. It's people like Dom. I'm going to give her some credit. It's you coming to help with this, and Bobby and Leah that's doing the website. I have really great people that are very, very good at what they do. Mm-hmm. So it goes back. Everybody's complimenting each other on what they bring to that table. And so I have a full company already kind of built with the people that I have around me that are supporting it. And I'm really, really excited what it's going to, what 2026 is going to look like as a whole.
Me too.
We're 8 months in right now. We look like a company that's probably a year and a half old on just like what we've accomplished so far. So we just got to keep going. Mm-hmm. We'll see.
Yeah.
Well, all right. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
And the next one, you'll probably be just co-hosting with me.
That's right.
All right.
See you again.
See you. All right, that's a wrap for today's episode. Thanks for tuning in and surviving another hour of our nonsense.
Seriously, if you loved it, hit subscribe, follow, and leave us a review.
And if you hated it, still leave a review. We need validation, good or bad.
And don't forget to check us out on Instagram @SpreadHAViK for behind-the-scenes madness, terrible ideas, and moments where we actually get it right.
And make sure you sign up for HAViK Society, where we're dropping new episodes and other stuff that makes us sound way cooler than we actually are.
Oh, and tell a friend or an enemy. Seriously, make them listen. If they hate it, just blame us.
We've got some seriously great guests lined up, so buckle up. It's going to be a ride.
Until next time, stay curious, stay uncomfortable, and
keep spreading HAViK.